problem that comes up in a lot of my classes that I run. I get a lot of questions from clients regarding this. They say they've added information to their list in Excel. Okay, so this is an Excel specific kind of thing happening here. And I will kind of bookend this with they're not using tables with this particular problem. With tables, if you add a record, it's not a problem. But with a list, what I've done here is I've just typed in 2 additional food expenses. One for January 10th and April 5th. Now, the problem is that when I go to my pivot table, they're actually not showing up. Okay, these values should be different for January. This should be a different value, and April should be a different value, but they're not. Even if I go to analyze and hit refresh, it's not picking up that data. And this is because we use an Excel list as basis for our pivot table. Simply typing in extra records at the end, which is how I added these 2, I just typed them at the end. Excel doesn't know to include those as part of the data set. If we would have manually inserted the rows into our list, we wouldn't have had this problem. It would have adjusted. But because I typed them at the end, it has not adjusted. So we need to know how to change the source data for this pivot table. You'll be able to see a little bit more what I'm talking about here. So if you click into the pivot table, you go to the Analyze tab, there's actually a button that says Change Source Data. I'm going to click directly on that button. You could click the drop down and then choose Change Source Data, but it's 2 clicks instead of 1. So I'm just going to click the main button. Here we go. It's taking me to my list. So it says, is this the range you want? And in fact, it isn't. Because if I scroll down, I want you to see in the background here, it hasn't included those 2 records that I typed in. So this would need to be adjusted. We would need to adjust this. You could manually type in the correct range. You could reselect it, whatever you'd want, but you need to tell it about any records that you would add into your Excel list. As soon as I do that, the values update to the proper values. So be aware if you're hitting refresh and it's not working, you know you've added data that should be showing up in your pivot table. It's most likely the source data that the pivot table is based on. And to change that, you can go to the Analyze tab and click Change Source Data.